So today, I'm going to make you question the stuff you put in your shopping cart and ultimately into your body. So to start us off, I'm going to quickly go over the common misleading food label claims you should be aware of, and then give you some practical guidelines for what to actually look for when you walk around the grocery store. Coming in first is added vitamins and minerals. So this essentially means that there aren't enough nutrients in the food to begin with, so they need to add a bunch of stuff in order to bring up its nutritional content and value. Next up is natural. Now, just because something is natural, it doesn't mean that it's good for you to consume it. For instance, uranium is natural and so is asbestos. Doesn't mean it's good to put these things inside your body. There is natural stuff that is good or bad for you in certain amounts, and there is man-made stuff that is good or bad for you in certain amounts. Whether it occurs naturally or not doesn't really mean that much. And on a similar level to this is the organic label. Just because something is organic, it doesn't mean it necessarily is good for you. For instance, raw sugar is organic. This doesn't mean though that it will make you leaner or healthier. And speaking of sugar, how can we not mention the no added sugar claim? This usually means that the food is already full of ingredients that are naturally high in sugar, and the manufacturer is saying that they don't need to add anything this time in order to sweeten it up. Next up is contains real fruit. Okay, so people are already questioning this kind of product for having any real fruit inside, and that it's often full of fake fruit-like stuff. Look, if you're trying to get your fruit intake from a flavored yogurt or a cereal, just forget it and start eating some actual fruit in your diet. Which brings us to the next claim, fruit flavored. This essentially means that it tastes like fruit but doesn't actually have any real fruit inside of it. Next up is reduced fat. This usually means that it's reduced from our really highly unhealthy fat version with extra sugar now added in its place. High protein, this simply means that compared to our other really low protein products, this one has got a little bit more. And it's interesting how you never find the high protein claim in the meat section of the store. Might be something to think about. And it doesn't end there. Cage-free, that means crammed into a barn where chickens might as well be in cages. Grass-fed is not the same as 100% grass-fed. The latter is a cow grazing in the field its whole life, and the former is a cow that has thrown a handful of hay at some point in its lifespan. Oh, and those multigrain breads and cereals they often sell you on? Well, multigrain just means that the food has more than one of any grain, including refined grains. This is not the same as whole grain. And then there is gluten-free. Gluten-free doesn't mean something is healthy. Everyone thinks that gluten is like an infectious disease or something. Who cares if something does or doesn't have gluten if you're not celiac? Domino's have gluten-free pizzas. Do you think they're healthy? Now, I'm sure there's a crap ton of more claims out there, and sure, some claims are legit and real, but for the most part, a lot are not, and you can spare yourself a lot of the BS and the confusion by doing one simple thing. Read the freaking label. And I'm not talking about the one on the front of the packet, I'm talking about the one on the back of the packet. All these problems and gimmicky claims can be avoided if you learn to read the nutrition table and the ingredients list. When you're reading these, here are some quick tips as to what to look for. When it comes to the nutrition table, go by the per 100 gram column rather than the serving size column. The serving size column is usually based on a tiny portion that is often manipulated by the manufacturers. I mean, are you really going to have a 40 gram serve of breakfast cereal? Come on. To avoid excess sugar, look for items with less than 10 grams per 100 grams, and also look for 6 grams or more of fiber per 100 grams. Usually if the product is higher in fiber, it will be lower in sugar. When it comes to the ingredients list, anything on the ingredients list that ends in syrup or ose is a sugar. The ingredients list also has the items listed in order of quantity from highest to lowest, i.e. the first ingredient listed is the one that's most present in the product, and the first 3 ingredients make up the majority of the product. If one of these ingredients is a type of sugar, a hydrogenated oil, or a refined grain, the product is almost certainly unhealthy for you. And if you're getting 2 to 3 lines or more of ingredients listed, the food is way too processed and you should probably avoid it entirely. Now here is a quick tip to save you some time and to avoid picking up every single item at the supermarket and checking every single nutrition table. The most decorated packets with label claims are usually the worst. Like compare this breakfast product to this popular one. Which one is prettier and has more to justify, and which one do you think is leaner and healthier? And if you're really concerned about your health and your waistline, then maybe you should actually try consuming foods that don't have a label at all. You know, like fresh fruits and vegetables, lean meats, etc. Like, why does everything you eat have to come in a packet? If you're going to eat food out of a packet or a container, then you need to understand and verify what it's really saying. In other words, wake up and learn about what you're actually cramming down your pie hole every day. Learn to read the labels and the tables and stop believing everything on face value. That's all for today. I've covered quite a few misleading label claims, but I know there are more dodgy and misleading ones out there. If you know of some more, then make sure you post these in the comment section below. Feel free to like this video if you found it helpful, and let me know what other content you'd like to see more of in the future. Thanks, and see you next time.